Hey Canucks fans, does the Vancouver Canucks power play have the potential to be one of the top power plays in the entire NHL? I'm Clay Emo, I'm at Canuck Clay on Twitter, I'm at Clayton Emo on Instagram, I'm the founder of the GLCPC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take. Last night I vlogged about the Vancouver Canucks 6-1 victory over the undermanned Edmonton Oilers squad. Now the Canucks were back at practice earlier today, preparing for their next exhibition game in the hockey hotbed of Salt Lake City. They'll take on the LA Kings Saturday night there. And today, the big news coming out of practice was they practiced the power play. And this is a power play that has had the potential, has been really good in past years, been not so good in other years, but has the potential to be really good, especially with the additions of Tyler Myers, with JT Miller, with Michael Furlan, and a full season of Quinn Hughes. So let's talk about the two units today. Really interesting combos there. I would love to get your thoughts as we go as to how these units should look in your eyes and how well they will do. So a couple of disclaimers. Number one, Michael Furlan was not at practice today. He was just battling a small illness. And Travis Green, when asked about Michael Furlan, did say that yes, he plans to be in the mix of these two power play units. So let's not read into the fact that Michael Furlan wasn't on one of those two units. You can't be in one of those two units if you're not at practice. So I'll talk about who I think he's going to replace and who is taking his spot, at least holding a spot for today's practice. And both of these Canucks units were designed the exact same way. You have one point man, you have two guys, much like many power plays are designed throughout the league. 1 point man, you have two guys on either side of the faceoff dot, the flank, so to speak. You have one guy kind of in front of the net or beside the net, so at the top of the diamond, so to speak. And then you have someone what's called in the bumper position. A bumper, think of when you're playing a pinball machine, how the ball kind of bounces off all the bumpers and stuff, and that's kind of what the bumper is. He plays in the middle, almost like a roving position, but in the middle, in the middle of all four guys, the diamond, so to speak. And the bumper needs to have a good shot, needs to be able to do deflections, needs to be able to pounce on rebounds, all those things. So both of these units, the first power play unit and the second power play unit, were designed with a bumper in the middle, a guy at the front of the net, two guys on either side, one guy on either side making two, and then one guy at the point. So the first unit was like this. It was Quinn Hughes at the top. It was Pettersson and Boeser on either side, of course. So those, they were there last year. Then we had JT Miller playing in front of the net, and we had Josh Leivo in the bumper position. I'll talk about, the breakdown in a second. So that was the first unit. Hughes, Boeser, Pettersson, Miller, and Leivo. The second unit had Alex Edler up top. Then on the two sides, you had Tyler Myers on one side with his big right-handed shot. Then you had Bo Horvat on the other side. And then you had Tanner Pearson in front of the net. And then you had Berchi and Goldobin alternating in that bumper spot, two skilled forwards. So kind of fascinating that Horvat was on the second unit. Last year, the unit basically was Edler up top, Boeser and Pettersson on the sides, Horvat in front of the net, and then someone in the middle, whether it was a Goldobin or a Berchi or a Leivo for Tannen, whoever it was. So let's look at these two units. Firstly, that Josh Leivo bumper spot, pretty sure that's Michael Furlan's spot. I like Josh Leivo. He's got actually a decent shot, a heavy snap shot, but yeah, I think you need Michael Furlan there. You're paying Michael Furlan a lot of money, and I'm sure when Michael Furlan gets better, that's where he's going to be. So your first unit ends up being Hughes, Boeser, Pettersson, Furlan, and Miller. I like Furlan and Miller are two new guys being thrust on that top line. I love Boeser and Pettersson obviously on the faceoff dots respectively, and I love Quinn Hughes at the top because of the way he can easily gain the zone if it's him carrying the puck in, the way he can easily skate around and make a lot of things happen out of nothing. And we've seen him, the way he kind of can circle, he can skate forward, skate backward, he can cut, he can do a good edge work, he can get quick wrist shots on net. So I'm really excited about that first unit, power play unit. That was a little redundant there. The first power play unit. We know what Pettersson can do on that right circle. We know what Boeser can do on that left circle, whether they're one-timers or whether they're wrist shots or snapshots, whatever it may be. We know that Quinn Hughes has a lot of potential to play out top. We know that JT Miller, we've seen it. He's so good at retrieving pucks. He's a great passer. He's also got a nose for the net, and he's fast. He's got good hands. Everything you want in a net front presence. And then Michael Furlan, you have a guy who's also fast, who's big. He's not going to lose puck battles. He can win loose puck battles. He has got a good shot, got a good nose for the net. He knows when to rush the net for a rebound, get some greasy goals. So I really like that first unit of Hughes, Boeser, Pettersson, Miller, and Furlan. Then and remember, Josh Levo was there for Michael Furlan today. Then you look at the second unit. The second unit is quite fascinating to me. You have Alex Edler up top, and he manned the first unit the entire season last season, so we know he can play on the power play. But then you have Tyler Myers as well. And then we were wondering, between Hughes, Myers, and Edler, between three guys who can play the power play, how are they going to split up the time, split up the duties over two units? Well, we have Edler and Myers both playing on the second unit, but not so much two D-men up top. We rarely see any teams do that. It's always a 1 D-man 4 forward lineup, or at least that whole diamond or box plus the bumper. So Tyler Myers was placed on one of the face-off dots as a right-hand shot. Basically, he's the Brock Besser of the second unit. He's got a hard shot. So imagine how hard that shot was coming from the point, how much harder it's going to be, or how much harder it's going to feel for the goalie coming from the face-off circle instead. So you have Myers on one side, and you have Bo Horvat, the left-handed Bo Horvat, on the other side, where Pettersson was in the first unit. That one's interesting to me. Horvat's very smart. He's an underrated passer. He's not afraid to get pucks to the net as well. And where he played on the net front in the first unit last year, I could see him doing well if this is the way they line up. I could see him doing well on the flank as well, on that side as a lefty for one-timers with good vision. And he could do some damage from there, and he's a very smart player. Then you have Tanner Pearson down below. Pearson and Horvat showed really good chemistry at the end of last season. And Pearson, even more than Horvat, is really good around the net because he's not going to be as dangerous away from the net. He's not as good a skater as Horvat. But Pearson will be able to be smart enough, kind of like JT Miller in the first unit, smart enough to know when to pass, know when to shoot. He's got decent vision. Is a bigger body too, so he won't get knocked around easily in front of the net. So I like that. And then you need a skill guy in the middle, whereas Furlan, or i.e. Levo on the first unit, Berchi and Godobin, both of them are fast enough to get to loose pucks. Both of them, they're not as big as, say, Michael Furlan is, but hopefully with their skill and their speed and their quickness on their edges, that they're able to retrieve pucks, do deflections, and they can also pass out of the bumper spot. It's not just about getting rebounds, it's about shooting. Oftentimes the guy in the middle will look around and he has the option to either shoot and or pass, and both Berchi and Godobin are good passers, so that might be good as well. I think what you see here with Myers, Edler, and Horvat on the second unit is you also see Travis Green trying to even out the units a little bit. So it's not just simply, shut down the first unit and you're going to shut down the Canucks power play. Now if you put a second unit out that's almost not as good, but almost as good as the first unit, then you make it a little harder for the defending team, the penalty killing team, and you spread out a lot of your offense. But really, between the 5 forwards of Boeser, Pettersson, Horvat, Miller, and Furlan, and then the 3 D-men of Hughes, Myers, and Edler, those 8 guys, you already have the making of 2 really good units. And it looks like the extra guys will be Godobin or Berchi on one of them, and Pearson as well. All those guys on the second unit. So Canucks fans, what do you think? I really like these units. I like how they spread out. I like how you obviously have Pettersson and Miller who can take draws on the first unit. You have Bo Horvat who can take draws on the second unit, right? You always need a centerman. You got to win the draw. I know a lot of changes happen on the fly on a power play, but especially you want to win that draw. And this year, as you know, as one of the real changes, the first face-off of a power play, you get to choose which face-off dot you want. And on that first unit, we kind of saw it yesterday. JT Miller can win draws, especially on left-handed, on his forehand. We saw him on the right side, the goal by Brogan Rafferty yesterday. Miller won it by basically scooping the puck back off the boards and back to Rafferty. I could see Miller doing that a lot, taking a lot of the draws, especially on that right side if you get the choice. I can see him taking the first draw for each power play and trying to win it back to the point, straight to Hughes, and they can set up from there. So that would be good for the first unit. And of course, you have Bo Horvat, the face-off monster, on the second unit. You got big shots on each unit. Obviously, Boeser and Pettersson from in close. And then, Hughes not so big of a shot. And then on the second unit, you have Tyler Myers from in close from the face-off dot, which is a little scary. And then you have Alex Edler from the top. Then you have Miller and you have Pearson as your net front. Good. Both those guys really good. You have Furlan retrieving pucks in the middle on the first unit. And then you have Berchi or Godobin on the second unit. And then you have Horvat on the second unit as well. Just evening things out. So I like it. I really like it. And, I don't think Horvat's going to freak out that he's not on the first power play unit. This second power play unit could do just as well as the first unit. They might not get as much time. Maybe it's like a minute 10 versus 50, or it goes 50 seconds, then 40, then another 30, or whatever. However it works. But I do see the power play 2 being much more dangerous this year than it was last year. So there we go, Canucks fans. 2 different units, 2 different makeups, and a lot of intrigue on both units. I'd love to know what you think. Which unit do you like better? Is it as simple as saying the first one because Pettersson and Boeser on that one? Or do you like the way that they're spread out? Would you love to see Horvat and or Myers on the first unit somehow instead of Miller and Furlan, for example? What sort of things would you like to see, or are you okay as I am, with these two units. They're balanced. There's a lot of skill. You got puck movers, you got puck shooters, you got rebounders, you got greasy goal getters, good passers. I'm really excited for what these two power play units might look like. And we know that the Canucks want to challenge for a playoff spot. The power play is going to have to be a big part of their success. All right, Canucks fans, let me know what you think. Leave a comment below. I'd love to read, react, reply. Like this video if you'd like to. Subscribe to this channel if you'd like to. And enjoy the day. I will check in with you tomorrow ahead of the next Canucks preseason game against LA in Salt Lake City. Have a great day. God bless. Go Canucks, go.